Hey there guys, my name's Mightman, welcome to yet another weapon review video. We are today going to be looking at the continuation of the Dawn stuff. The thing we've got in our bar here is a Dawn Saw. Now this is obviously a chainsaw. It apparently hits for 8.5 shots per second with a 19 damage base with a 10% critical chance. Hits up to 5 enemies with an enhanced melee radius with a slowness effect of 20% for 3 seconds and has a 35% chance to stun enemies for 1 second. This is what it looks like with my build. I don't have all the crit for this, but it's still going to be interesting. This is one of the saws I adore, and yeah, let's just go in about it. Now we don't have any of the supply officer stuff, but one thing before I continue this, I want to bear in mind, I want to keep the theme of being death row for these weapons, all the done stuff we've got here, just to show them off. When it comes back to the normal weapons again, we'll go back to the bunker. So let's just take this as it is from its base components. So we do have a bit of range on it, but I don't know if you're noticing already, some of this is getting staggered by that. But the issue is, because it's a chainsaw, you need to be up and close and personal. Let's just make it a bit more difficult. Now I'm only doing about 95 damage, and I've got the kind of neutral, and that should be neutral in that sense. But the other kind of complexity on the chainsaws is because obviously it can hit up to 5 enemies at one time, the damage dissipates between them in a sense, and it makes it weaker and weaker whilst it goes in. Yes, it has an enhanced range, but it does make things a bit more difficult, but you can still kind of, as quote somebody said in Discord at one point, trim the hedges in a sense with this. And yeah, you can totally do that with the Dawn Saw, because it's one of the saws that actually has an extended reach, and it does put the Flesh Reaver kind of on its toes a little bit in terms of that. It does well with it coming to getting hit and that and such. I'm not obviously getting hit, but I will in a second. Some of these guys who are swinging for me, obviously I'm critting them, so they get a bit of a stagger because they're low HP. But I think we should just kind of pack it in and go get our grind build here. But to be fair, at its base level, I'm happy with the Dawn Saw. It's a solid 7 for me in terms of how it is at its base form. In fact, it's got such a long reach, you could kind of loot with this and have no issues. As stupid as it is, chainsaws you're not meant to be able to loot, but I am happy with this. The Dawn Saw is one of the best chainsaws in the game for me. But with it being all now maxed out, we now need to figure out how we're going to get out here. I think we can do this. So we'll go and take it back to this corner, because this is the best corner to show us on. So with this, we are just going to kind of look about and see how well it actually does. And it is shredding. Now imagine this with bosses, one-on-one in that sense, you can use it to destroy the bosses quite easily. And because obviously we are getting the enhanced damage, a lot of these are going to get staggered with their hit. And I'm trying to stay in the middle of them just so I can show this off and try and make sure I hit whoever's trying to hit me. Just to show us. As you can see, obviously I'm not getting hit because I am trying to base where it. Oh, there you go, got hit there. I will die in this video because obviously, why not? It's a theme for death row here, these kind of weapons. There we go. So yeah, with the Dawn Saw, it is good. I would recommend that you don't use it for realistically down here. Saws in general aren't good for these kind of high aggro areas. It's one of those ones you get a horde around bunker kind of thing and you're like, okay, I'll just grab a saw and do that. Is the Dawn Saw good? Yes, out of 10 if it's proper form, I would give it a 9. The lack of efficiency needed for this is fantastic. But again, you need to be levels like 75 to equip it, and you need to be level 400 to actually craft the Dawn Star stuff of it, which makes it a bit more difficult to say that it's worth getting in the long run. What I would probably say is, with the kind of length of it, if you are struggling to even get a Flesh Reaver, just get the Dawn Saw. If you're at that level, get it. It's well worth the price for what it is. The main kind of issues with it is with the damage it dissipates across the 5 different enemies you can hit, it does make it a lot worse in terms of an actual weapon to use. Whereas if you're using this for boss hunting, for me, I love being close quarters, this would be perfect for that. Just run about in a circle and you're pretty much done. But with the other stuff like range weapons and that, you kind of have a bit of leeway of range, whereas Dawn Saw, you're up close and personal, and it makes it a lot more difficult to kind of manage. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this as a short and sweet review. The Dawn Saw is definitely worth crafting in my opinion. However, that's the caveat of if you can't get a better another chainsaw that's similar to it. For example, Flesh Reaver. The Dawn Saw does really well because of like efficiency. I like it. It's one of our go-to saws, and this is the one I used to get my max mastery outside the Eviscerator. But yeah guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully this is somewhat helpful in terms of, is it worth it in a sense? This will do well in Raven Ridge, it will do well around the bunker. It won't do well in Wasteland because, again, close and personal. It doesn't really particularly do too efficiently well down Death Row because, again, close and personal with the hordes and how they are. I would highly recommend just using it within Raven Ridge and the bunker area. Outside of that, it's up to yourselves how you want to use this. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, great time. I shall see you guys later. Goodbye.